What's up, YouTube? Angry Jackalope Robricks. I recently had the pleasure of going out with my kids, my wife, and we watched Krampus. Holy cow pies. Out fucking standing. Krampus is going to join the ranks of Christmas Story, actually just Christmas Story. Christmas Story is one of the only movies that I really make a point to watch around the holidays. But Krampus, every single member of my family loved it. And this review is going to be a two-parter. First part's just going to talk about little bits of it, not giving away any spoilers. And then when I get to the second half, I'm going to start spoiling all kinds of shit. So, when it gets to the point where I give it a rating and I say, okay, I'm done, now I'm going into the spoiler part, stop the fucking video if you haven't watched the movie. If you plan on watching the movie, because I don't really want to fuck it up for anybody, but I'll give you fair warning. Alright, now, what Krampus does really well is it takes certain stereotypes and certain archetypes of characters and presents them in such a way that you can't help but go, okay. The opening credits are a scathing social commentary of the hypocrisy of the holiday seasons. Black Friday. Oh my lord. It is such a wonderful opening sequence to set the stage. Right when I saw that, I smiled ear to ear and said, this is going to be a fucking Rob Ricks motherfucking movie. So right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, fucking Krampus is Angry Jackalope approved, hands down. I thought it was fucking amazing. The character acting, the actors were really good. There really wasn't anything that was super predictable. I mean, it's not a scary movie. It's done really well with the creature effects, but they're not scary. It's troubling, and some of the types are a little bit like, kind of creepy. But I wouldn't say there's any real jump scares, no terrifying parts. But there is a lot of like, whoa parts, like, whoa, that's pretty fucking cool. There are some other reviews that I watched before watching Krampus, because I was curious what some of the YouTubers that I like to watch thought about it. And a couple of them gave it, like a B and a C+, and they liked certain aspects of it. And they brought up things like Home Alone. And I thought, yeah, I could see that. But for the most part, it's it really painted a very clear picture of these characters that you don't like. A lot of them you just don't like, and there's some that you do like. For me, the grandma stood out as one of the better characters for me, and I really enjoyed her, and I enjoyed the son. And actually, I liked most of the characters, because even the ones I didn't like him, and I kind of was irritated by them, and that was good in itself. That's a good thing in of itself. Now, it dragged a little bit near the end, and it could have ended, and then it did a kind of another sequence. And upon thinking about it, I actually enjoyed that. At first, I was kind of like, they could have ended it. But then, the more I think about it, I actually like what they did. And we're going to talk about that in the spoiler stuff. So, if I was to give it a score, I'm going to give it an A+. Because this movie had smooth continuity. It had very interesting storyline, very entertaining, and I had nothing that jumped out at me for me to complain about. I enjoyed it thoroughly. So did my kids. So did my wife. All 5 of us liked it. And we had engaging conversations on the way home, which I'm going to get into here in a moment. So, If you get a chance, go check out Krampus. It's worth it. It's a good fucking movie. It's a solid good movie. Now, I'm gonna get into the spoilers. Forgive me, I have a little bit of stiffness that I'm working through. So, spoilers! If you're still watching and you jumped ahead by accident, motherfucker, if you don't want spoilers, you need to leave right fucking now. Exit stage left. Get the fuck out of here because you don't want to hear what I'm about to talk about. Okay? Give it a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Here we go. All right. So Krampus, the little boy, you know, when his cousins grabbed his fucking note and started reading that shit aloud, it's key. It's key at that moment because the father doesn't intervene. The uncle, the father of the bratty twins or whatever, the girls, he doesn't do anything. He's just joking and says, "Oh, we'll let it happen." Grandma doesn't say anything. Fucking nasty aunt from the trailer park doesn't fucking say anything, and mom can't really say anything because she's in the other fucking room in the kitchen with the creme brulee. So this is very key to note, and obviously the baby can't intervene because the baby's a fucking baby, and the mother of the daughters that are sitting there, even his sister is holding him back, not letting him do what he needs to do. So they're embarrassing this poor kid, ripping his emotions apart as they read his fucking note to Santa. And you know, the kid had a fucking great heart. Everything that he was asking from Santa was heartfelt, was something that only a person who has a whole lot of love in his heart would ask for. You know, he wants things to be good. And so his dad kind of drops the ball, and I'm a little disappointed Grandma didn't go up and, you know, try to smooth out the edges as well. And so he ends up saying fuck it, and he doesn't believe, and his heart turns cold. And then Krampus and them start showing up. Now, the thing that I felt was very interesting was you never see the sister's boyfriend, for example. She goes to check on him, and then later on when, you know, the dad and the uncle go head out looking for the missing daughter at that point, they go to the boyfriend's house, and there's a gingerbread dude with a knife through him on the fridge. What's interesting to me is you don't really see any other characters after the fact. I mean, you see the guy that delivers the package with the Krampus bag to the house, the big Santa bag that has shit in it, and then you see the truck for the what do you call it? The guy that gets rid of the snow, the not the snow blower, but the whatever. So you see his truck, and you see the windows broke out, and something went in and got his ass. So what I found interesting, especially consider the ending with the snow globe, were we seeing the first time through, or were we seeing another replay through? You know? Because it's very interesting as we're watching and we're seeing the character progression. One thing I thought was interesting was, you know, we had the mom sister who was, you know, a little on the pudgy side, a little bit more, you know, down home, and they took those stereotypes and they went really to the extreme. You know, mom was one of these perfectionists, had the family pictures up every fucking year, all immaculate and everything, and we get a pretty firm picture that was something that she had kind of inherited from her mom. There's a part where her and her sister are sitting there talking about the family angel, and she's like, "Oh, you had the angel? Oh, I didn't know that." She's like, "Yeah, we used to fight about it all the time." The fact that she ended up with it and had all these pieces that she kept, and she said, "Yeah, that's how mom would have did it." You get some pretty good hints on character development, why characters were the way they were. You know, you had the stereotypical busy business father, always running trying to get shit done. He's answering the call, and the wife's like, "Hey, I thought you said no work on Christmas." He said, "No, no traveling. I still got to take some fucking phone calls." And you can tell a lot of the traveling that he ends up doing, he's obviously not around the house enough, and they've started to drift apart. And it was enough that the son was even noticing it and asking Santa that they could come back together. And I thought, that's interesting because these are archetypes that we see time and time again in American society. And then we see the uncle with his guns, and that's, they try to make that out to be a stereotypical right winger gun nut, heartland, oh, you city folk are the fucking enemies, and we're the good old boys, and we're the ones that's going to survive in the apocalypse. We're the Daryl Dixons and shit that really get shit done, right? And it's funny because on the one hand, the one family is so anti-gun. You remember the part they're sitting at the dinner table, and the one guy's talking about guns, and the wife's like, "We said we wouldn't talk about guns," and he's like, "Well, we'd always talk about guns," and so you see the one family doesn't like the guns, but by the time the movie's over, they were the ones that embraced the guns a whole lot more than anybody else. And then, you had some redeeming moments where, the business dad saves the gun uncle. I'm sorry, I'm not saying names. I don't remember any of their fucking names, to be honest with you. And I just watched the movie, but it's just like the main character's the boy, his mother, his father, their, sister and brother-in-law, and the aunt that wasn't invited. So you had trailer trash in there. You had the older sister who thought she was just the elitist and she was better than anybody. You had the perfectionist mom. You had the immigrant grandmother who was German, who spoke German throughout most of it until she got to a point where she revealed, "Yeah, I can speak English," but she chose not to. So that was interesting, and that kind of spoke to, a lot of the immigrants that actually do know how to speak our language, but the English language, but choose to speak their own language and, kind of play dumb. So you see that a lot. And it was interesting. And then, you had the fat kid that didn't talk. He was the obese child, video gaming archetype. You had the sporty sisters who were athletic. The dad obviously wanted more sons, but he had the daughters, so he was having them all fucking sportsed out, jock, whatever, and they were mean and they played badasses. But later on you see them fucking scared shitless when they're going upstairs to do stuff, and it was just interesting to see all of these stereotypes present themselves in this show, and they were all social commentaries about certain types of personalities. And then when the Krampus and his merry little demonic associates decide to fucking rain holy hell on this family, they do so, and there's a lot of very interesting characters. The Jack in the Box character was pretty spooky. The angel, little demonic angel topper. You had your teddy bear that reminded me a whole lot of Five Nights at Freddy. You had your little mechanized monsters, gingerbread things, which, were kind of a little gremlin-like. Then you had these elves that wore masks. And it was it was interesting. It was interesting to see all these different things and how they were going down and how each character would get grabbed and snatched, and then you'd see a snowman. And so by the time the thing was getting near the end, you'd had a whole fucking front yard full of snowmen. Well, the part that I loved the most about this was when the kid is spared by Krampus and he's given the bell, even after Grandma, stood her ground. Grandma got fucked up. And he says, "Take me instead of them." To which I was like, "Oh, really? Here we go. Okay, this is good. This is where the cliche bullshit happens." And then the movie does the unthinkable. It says, "Ha, you threw that bell away? Well, now, that's fucking awesome. Oh, look at your little tears. All right, I'm going to take you too. So he fucking takes everybody. And then he fucking falls and he wakes up and he's like, oh man, everything that I wanted actually turned out good. Look, everybody's getting along. And then he opens up and there's the bell. And I was like, that's fucking brilliant. And then pulls back and you see that they're like inside of one of those snow globes. And it suddenly occurs to you that this is like a repeatable Groundhog Day. And every single time the reveal happens where they realize is because of this kid that they are all inside of the thing. And I'm sure at some point he tells them, yeah, I tried to save you guys. And they're like, yeah, well, you know, they're probably civil the first 3 or 4 times through, and then as it gets through, it becomes just fucking hell in there, you know? And so I thought, damn. Out fucking standing. And if you look at what Krampus really stands for, you know, I kind of took, you know, I took some liberty with some of the stuff I'm about to talk about because there's a part where a portal opens up and it looks like hell and there's fire and brimstone looking things and everybody kind of gets, you know, chucked down in there. And, you know, it's interesting because I was telling the kids, I said, well, you know, what's interesting is, you know, Christmas is supposed to be Christ's Mass and it's supposed to be to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, right? That's one aspect of it. But then we've also got some pagan Druidic influences where we have Christmas trees and we have, you know, Santa Claus. And, you know, if you look at Krampus, Krampus is supposed to be the shadow of Santa Claus. He's supposed to be the negative aspect of it. So, you know, it's interesting that here we are with Christmas. It's supposed to be the time of year where everybody kind of, you know, buries the hatchet and just kind of, fuck it, you know what? It's the one time of year we should all try to get along and be nice to each other. And the ironic thing is, it is the time where most people treat each other like complete dog shit. And this movie points it out. And I gotta tell you, watching Krampus made me have a better appreciation for me and my family and how well we get along and the fact that we enjoy each other's company and there's people that I have in my life that I love and I cherish and you know I think about them on a daily basis and I let them know, I acknowledge them and I say I really appreciate the fuck out of you guys, you know. And those things I got firmly reminded of the whole time I'm watching Krampus. And so, you know, if you take I got rambled there for a second. So the point I was trying to make is the way that we ended up with Christmas on the day it ended up was we had the Romans, and the Romans had a celebration. I believe it was for Mars, god of war. I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, correct me down at the bottom. But I think they had a big celebration around that time of the year. So they decided, you know what, we'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We'll go ahead and have Christ's Mass to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ on the one side, but we'll still have our kicking holiday for the 25th for Mars. And so that's why we ended up having Christmas on this particular day. So you look at the Christmas trees, you look at a lot of the different archetypes of the Christmas trees, the sacrifices, the present giving, you know, a lot of that stuff. Some purists would say it's not really what Christmas is all about. But the way I grew up, fuck, it was like, hey man, we have fucking presents. That's fucking outstanding. And it's become very commercial, but Krampus does a great job just illustrating that point. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. If you guys have seen the movie, I would love to have conversations with you guys about it, but the problem is it's still a relatively new movie, and I don't think a lot of people have seen it yet. So I think if we start hashing out certain plot points down in the comments, it's going to be a spoiler for some people. So, and there's no way for us to hide comments. That would be kind of a cool feature for YouTube to do, that would say, okay, here's a comment, and it might be spoiler based, and so you put a comment down there and you just hit a little checkbox that says spoiler, and that way people could see like there's a little spoiler tag on it, and if they click it, it would expand that comment. I think that would be neat if YouTube could come up with something like that. But anyway, I rambled way too long on this. I'm going to have to edit a bunch of this shit out. I apologize, but I just really was tickled and loved Krampus. I thought it was an outstanding fucking movie. And it will be something that I will be watching every year around this time. So that's it for this one. If you like it, please subscribe. Tell all your fucking friends. Until next time, please be good to each other, or Krampus will come and kick your ass.